Three, two. Oh. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It has been probably like 6 months. It's been a little.
It's been a minute.
It's been a while. But welcome back to the show, the Semanti-Cast. Of course, we've have Gabe here as always.
I am here.
It's been a whole summer basically, and there has been quite a bit of things that have gone on in the world that we thought we'd get on here and talk about. Our main topic for the day.
Have we seriously not recorded?
I don't think we did.
Like Metroid Dread has been in existence.
I know we did. No, we did an E3 recap.
We did an E3 recap.
Yeah, we did an E3 recap.
It's been like 3 months.
Yeah, a whole
at max.
Yeah, basically.
Because like if E3 is like the 10th, 14th.
Yeah, middle of
June.
Middle of the month.
So it's been 3 months.
But yeah, E3 was honestly fun. It's kind of hard to believe it was only, that long ago already. But
crazy.
The main topic for discussion today will be Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is something I want to do on the show, is have a more focused style, because we ramble, because it's what we do. It's literally what the name of the podcast means. The main question posed today is like, has the Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe captured the attention of audiences everywhere, or has it left them booing and throwing tomatoes? But yeah, so that's what we'll talk about today. But first, Gabe has kind of changed a little bit in opinions here. I'm being way too dramatic, but so the other day you mentioned you're like, yo, I kind of want a PS5, and I'm curious, what has led you to this conclusion?
Dude, I'm just feeling Spider-Man angst. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm just feeling Spider-Man 2 angst.
Have you, how many times have you played through PS4?
Once.
Okay. I wouldn't recommend playing through it now, but until you have a PS5. But
I mean, it's still going to be a long way out, so it's probably.
That's
true. Even then, if I were to get the PS5 version, that mean I need to get the Ultimate Edition of Miles Morales, and who knows if if at that point it's been scalped,
Yeah, I mean, because the code, it's a digital code, which is pretty stupid. I kind of hate that. That is pretty dumb. But yeah, I mean, I've been playing Spider-Man Remastered myself, and it's great. We've talked about it before on the show, and how it's not only is it a good game, but it's a really good Spider-Man story.
I mean, you haven't finished it.
No, so, I'm not even done.
You haven't gotten to the point where I'm oh, wait, I'm remembering things, and that's what they're gonna do. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I really do got to get through it, but I've been more in a movie phase right now. So I don't know. I've been watching A Portrait of a Lady on Fire, instead of playing Spider-Man. So been in a weird mood there.
Is when we watched the PlayStation 5, the recent. Yeah,
what was it? PlayStation
event.
Showcase, I think.
Yeah. I didn't have sound, so it took me until a while later to rewatch the trailer and then go oh wait, this is Kraven.
Yeah, it's Kraven. I was saying that though, dude.
I was dude, wait, we're doing Kraven's Last Hunt in this? Oh.
Yeah. Not watching that with sound is pretty funny, but
yeah.
Kraven and Venom and Miles and Spider-Man and
what else have we got a ball?
Who knows?
How far are you in
So, okay, spoiler alert for Spider-Man. I don't even know what to call that game.
Spider-Man PS4?
Yeah, but that's
or
a dumb
2018
name.
if you prefer.
Spider-Man PS4, Sony's, Marvel's Spider-Man.
Here's the way to put it. How many factions are there? How many different groups of crime?
The demons and the Fisk people. Kingpins.
Wow, you only have 2 so far?
Yeah, I just got through where so Miles' father died, which I wasn't expecting. And then I just did the mission where you're at the costume party. So I don't know.
Yeah, because that immediately puts in my brain where you are, and it's okay, so I can't talk about.
Oh god, there's more. There's more gangs, and oh dear. I just started the Taskmaster stuff. Actually, now that I think about it,
I mean,
So
that's a side thing. That isn't.
yeah, true, but it's a main mission, but like to start it.
True.
So, but I just
Oh,
did
is it?
that. Yeah, it's like a main mission. Oh, it was weird because I
Okay.
did one of them before I did the main mission, where it's like, oh, I don't know what this is. I sure wonder what it is. But like before I did it, Peter was
I
already
think
like,
you.
"What
It's
is
weird.
this? What the heck?" And then he calls Yuri, and he's like, "I just did this thing." I'm like, "Why didn't you call before?" I don't know. Writing and it's little narrative dissonance, blah blah blah.
I mean,
It was
that
just
worked.
weird. It was a weird series of events.
Yeah, that game is so good.
It's like
I'm just like, dude. I hope Venom is playable at some point. I hope the plot progresses to where
do you
they're
think
able
they'll
to do that.
do like instead of Mary Jane missions, you got Eddie Brock missions?
Oh, dude, I swear to God.
Although obviously I apparently it's not Eddie Brock, which hey, whatever. That's fine.
It could be.
It could not be.
It could not. I will say what they've set up so far is not. There isn't like an end credit scene where it's like, my name's Eddie Brock and I work for the Bugle. Like, no. They don't do that. But they do have something set up for it.
It's pretty wild. I have to say, I'm actually surprisingly.
Because Peter doesn't even work at the Daily Bugle, so that'd be hard to work in.
Yeah.
Or does he? We don't see his job.
I don't think he does. I've finished collecting all the backpacks. So
Yeah. Maybe he didn't. It must have in the past, but we don't see him have a job. And oh yeah, he does work with Otto. Yeah. And I mean that does play in at a point.
I'm excited for that because like I keep expecting it like to happen, but I'm like no, that has to be a third act thing, right? Like they're not gonna pull Octavius like at like the
my God,
midway
it's so
point.
good.
But I'm like
That game is
I
so
can
good.
already tell that it's gonna be well done just because how much they've like characterized him throughout the beginning of the game, and so yeah, it's gonna be pretty
so
good.
You're so good, dude.
I will
just like,
say the only thing that kind of bothers me about the game, like one of my biggest negatives, is like a lot of people are like, oh, it's really fun to traverse everywhere, and like it is, but like I don't know if you unlock more stuff or if it was just hardware limitations, and because I'm playing a higher frame rate version, but like the web swinging feels really slow, even when you've picked up momentum, and so that's something that I'm looking forward to in the next one. Is like my favorite. So Spider-Man 2, the movie tie-in game, that game had like infamous web swinging because like no other game after it could do better than it, and so
I think
even
it was
this
because
one,
that game was like uncapped, pretty much. Yeah.
yeah, and
I
so
think
like,
that's probably what it is. That game was like that.
but like,
To like let you be like, I'm going full momentum from
Yeah.
the top of the Empire State Building,
Yeah.
and I will get up as much speed as physically like as the hardware can allow.
yeah,
So
it's a sick
Spider-Man
game.
PS4 does have
It does.
it does have a hard cap.
It does have momentum, and like I can tell when you like just normally like hop off the ground and start swinging it slow, and you speed up. But like one of my favorite things from that game was like you got this weird boost while you were swinging that you could use, like if you pulled the trigger, and so it was like I don't know, swinging is good in Spider-Man PS4, no doubt, but like yeah, I don't know. It feels a little lacking sometimes, but I don't know. Maybe I don't have. I mean, I have one of the tech trees all the way filled out, and not a lot of them.
I think
seem...
I have heard that. I remember hearing that from people that were like, I grew up with Spider-Man 2.
I mean,
and this
yeah.
is like, in all other ways, it's the best one. But like the web swinging,
Yeah,
okay.
and like I've been picky about like the Amazing Spider-Man games. Oh god, the web swinging in those, it's so bad. So this is definitely better. So, but it was just the one thing that I'm like, oh, I wish just a little more speed sometimes. But
If only it was like when I was a child.
exactly. So we'll see. Maybe they'll improve that in the sequel. We'll see. I haven't played Miles Morales, so.
Well, I mean,
Maybe
that's just
True.
based on the same engine, 1.5 cool. So
True.
not much has changed.
I will say, surprisingly, I'm also excited about Wolverine.
I know, right? Like that's one I'm a little bit like I don't know where they'll go with this.
Yeah,
you know.
I don't know what they'll like. Apparently, they're in the same universe. So...
Yeah, it's shared.
Yeah,
It's shared world.
which is a bad thing because then you have to play all the games in order to catch up for the next one. That's a bad thing. But
in I know in Miles Morales they name drop like who is it? Freaking I think like the person who's like the Dazzler or whatever.
Oh, that's funny.
Like as a reference, like as a bit of like, oh, this was owned by this person. So it's like, okay,
Allison Blair.
We should have known. We should have known it was coming. Back with that throwaway line in Miles Morales.
Well, Dazzler's like, he's with not only X-Men but also like Alpha Flight. So
yeah, but it's like, I wonder how they're gonna do it. You know?
Yeah, and like what style of gameplay? I mean, obviously it's gonna have to be like a beat 'em up type thing, right?
Yeah, it's like weird. And it's like I wonder.
Traversal is gonna be interesting. Like, are you gonna have like a vehicle? Is it gonna be kind of? I hate saying this, but like Grand Theft Auto-esque, where it's in like a suburb Canadian city. I don't know.
Like I don't know. I just feel like the idea of being like, okay, I'm Wolverine. I'm like, you can't put Wolverine in a New York City map and then be like, this will work.
It won't be fun.
Like, no, that's gonna suck.
Yeah,
you're just gonna have to hoof it or get in a car, and it's like that's not what Wolverine does.
Yeah, true.
He doesn't drive a car.
And so maybe it's gonna be a more like Uncharted linear style. Maybe, I don't know.
I think you kind of nailed it with like it's gonna be like in a very remote, like small country town.
Right.
Area, you know? Like I don't see Wolverine driving a car, but I see him driving a pickup truck.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like
he'll have his roach of a car.
Yeah. Or like a bike. You know?
True. Oh, a bike would make sense too.
Like you can't yeah. Well, I mean, though, to be fair, it's Insomniac and they do good stuff.
And like after playing Ratchet and Clank, I was kinda like it's a extremely linear game, like not to a fault, but it was just like, it was refreshing, like playing that style of game. And I know
I don't have to go across a plane to get to the next level.
Yeah,
I can just continue.
I can just go. Yeah, and I know like linear is kind of a dirty word, like sometimes for AAA games. But like, so is open world. I don't know. People just complain about everything. So it's like they'll definitely like Spider-Man has a really good balance with its world, and like there's like you can't go 5 feet without something shiny to do, Whereas like Wolverine, I don't think will have that style of gameplay. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
It's like the thing with open world and linear is like it's literally the thing where like either half of the people that are vocal about it like one and don't like the other.
That is true.
It's like there are the certain people that are like, if it's not big and there isn't so much to do and it's not X amount of hours long, then it's a waste of money.
Yeah.
And not worth your time. But then there are also people that are like, I don't like it that way. These games suck and they're all the same.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, guys.
And I mean, there's already.
Now, if you're someone who's making both of those complaints, then we're getting to that level of like, what?
What games do you like? I don't know if you.
Like, what are you doing?
This is kind of
like.
Oh, sorry.
I like non-linear games.
Puzzle. They like puzzle games. They like Tetris. They just play Tetris infinitely, forever.
They like Crash Bandicoot 3.
There you go. You
pick a level in out of
like
5.
A hub world?
So it's open, but it's
like Mario 64.
Mario 64.
Yeah. Although that's an open world. I don't know. It's funny to me when like you read articles from like the late 90s and it's like the open world, like they're obviously their words were different, but it was like the open world of Ocarina of Time, and I'm like, I guess it kind of is. There's no.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are like limiting things, like we can't bomb that boulder just yet, or jump that fence just yet. But it's like, yeah, I mean, very different than what we have today.
I mean, like in other open world games, there are things where it's like you can't do this yet.
That's true.
Like activities don't unlock.
True.
It's just like you explore this place. And that's the thing. And it's like, okay, I sure do enjoy Hyrule Field.
I can't remember, did Wolverine get a date? I can't remember.
Oh no.
Because I mean that's a good thing. But
yes,
I feel like it's gonna be sooner than Spider-Man 2 is my guess. But I'm not sure.
Seriously?
That's what it feels like.
I say hardcore the opposite.
Not only did they announce it first, but like
I think Wolverine, because didn't Spider-Man PS4 like get announced fairly early.
Yeah, it did. It took a while.
I think it's going to be that. It's going to be the same thing for this.
True.
You know?
And like they've already,
we see it and we know it exists, and then it's gonna kind of fade away for a year or two.
Okay. Yeah.
And then eventually it's gonna pop back up, like Spider-Man did, because didn't it pop back up in like 2017?
Yeah, and then they teased Miles at the end, and everyone was like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah, it like popped. Like the second time we saw it was in 2017, and then it came out in 2018 after like one more E3.
True. You're probably right, actually. You're probably
it's probably gonna be something like that.
Especially since they gave Spider-Man 2 a date. But I mean, I'm looking forward to that. Like, you know, Insomniac, I think, has made my game of the year so far this year. So it's like
Insomniac just slaps, dude.
And like not only did you know, I get like Miles Morales was a 1.5 half qual, but like they released that, and then a few months later, boom, Ratchet and Clank. So it's like and it's from what it sounds like, they have a pretty decent work environment. Like, you know, nothing insane.
No one has come out and been like, "This is incredibly toxic."
Yeah,
like,
yeah. No,
you're being crunched.
No frat boy culture either, so that's good.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so they're definitely a studio that's like I'm gonna pay attention to and like, you know, care about their games. So definitely looking forward to their Marvel stuff. It will, you know, I still hope they'll be able to do. I mean, I don't know how big of a studio they are, so like I don't know what it's going to be like for non-Marvel IPs for them, because obviously I want them to be able to do their own stuff. But
yeah, it's kind of hard to say, you know, like it's hard to know how it works when you're not in it. Yeah, it's like, were there like 3 teams? Because we know there was a team for Spider-Man, and there was obviously a team for Ratchet and Clank. But there was also a team for Miles Morales. So like, did they main team start developing Ratchet and Clank after like Spider-Man wrapped?
Probably. They could have been simultaneous as well, maybe.
Yeah.
Because
but we do know
PS5
Miles
dev
Morales' team is doing Wolverine. At least is currently heading it.
Say again, sorry?
The team that did Miles Morales is currently heading Wolverine.
Okay.
So maybe this is like we are now having 2 teams, and that was like their first project or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, because like the other thing too is like, I mean, the Guardians of the Galaxy game is like a thing as well, and like their game is going to be compared to, because like, I don't know, for a while. I mean, you mentioned this. I feel
bad for the Guardians game.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned this that like. For a long time, superhero games, the basis for them changed. Like, you know, at one point it was like X-Men, what's it called? X-Men Unite? No, what the hell's X-Men Legends? X-Men Legends, and then there was Ultimate Alliance, and then Batman Arkham, and now I would say the new standard of like what everyone compares superhero games to is Spider-Man PS4. So it's like
it was basically Arkham, and then like a gap where nothing else came out until Spider-Man. Like,
yeah,
you know.
Well, I mean, and like every game ever took from Arkham's combat system. Like Assassin's Creed changed to more of an Arkham type system. So it's like, you know, not only was the game influential for other comic book games, but like in games in general. So it'll be interesting, you know, later down the line to see what kinds of games come out of studios that are inspired by like Spider-Man PS4 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anywho, I believe it is time to move on to our new subject. So, Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 4 has actually been going strong for 9 months now. It officially started with WandaVision back in January. And it's kind of weird to think that, because it already feels like, you know, I don't know. Last 2 years have been wild that, like, time doesn't exist. So when you realize that it's been 9 months since January, you're kind of like, what the heck? And so I remember when that wrapped up and it was like, holy cow, like, you know, new Marvel stuff, because we hadn't had anything since Spider-Man Far From Home, which was 2019. So it was like, it had been a while. And now the train is on full steam at this point, because Shang-Chi has done very well at the box office during the pandemic. That Eternals will no longer have a simultaneous release on Disney+, no delay there. Even though this isn't Marvel Studios, but Venom, Let There Be Carnage was put back up, I believe, 2 weeks, to October 1st. So like clearly studios have faith in the theaters again, which is pretty cool. And
I doubt many of them are gonna work out as well. Venom isn't gonna make that much money.
No, I don't think so. I definitely, like the stuff that people expect to do well, I think will do well, but stuff like Venom will do better than we originally thought, probably. I don't know. Interesting. And so, we are basically getting 4 to 5 projects a year now, which is ridiculous. I remember back when it was like, holy cow, we're getting Iron Man 3 and Thor: The Dark World in 1 year. We're spoiled. Now we have 4 shows in a year and like 4 movies. So I don't know what happened, but we're going a little crazy here. And so I just kind of want to get your pulse on the situation, because I remember back when, what was that? Was that Comic-Con? I guess that was Comic-Con 2019, huh? Where they announced like everything ever. Basically, Phase 4 was announced. I specifically remember because like the whole time I was checking Twitter and like getting excited about like Thor: Love and Thunder, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Eternals, not the Eternals, Eternals, stuff like that being announced, and you were kind of like, whatever. And so I wouldn't say, okay, just go ahead. Would you say your opinion has changed a little bit since then, or like how are you feeling?
It's like, it's weird, like. I think I'm in the same area, yes, even though I've watched more than I thought I would. But to be fair, I've literally only watched like half of what's come out.
True.
Even still. And I guess it's like, I'm excited for, like what I got out of it is like, you know what? I wasn't interested in Shang-Chi, and that slapped hard. I guess that's what I've gotten out of it.
Yeah.
I'm still like, Spider-Man, cool.
I guess I
Doctor
hadn't...
Strange, neat. Thor and Guardians, dope. Eternals. Like,
I am... what the heck's going on? But... So I hadn't realized you actually saw,
Nomadland?
Yeah, sorry, I just got a text from my father. Black Panther, or Black Widow. I hadn't realized you had saw Black Widow. And I didn't even know that. I was like, oh.
It's like, that's one of those movies where, like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, my opinion on it has gone
down,
like,
you'd say?
Steadily down as I think about it more.
Interesting. Because, honestly, I'm probably the opposite. Because... Okay, I've seen that movie like 4 times now, which is a little ridiculous.
Jesus Christ.
I had never really intended to watch it that many times. But when I first saw it, I don't know. I didn't really care for it. I was like, the stuff that I liked was like stuff that I still like. But, I've seen it like 4 times. And so it's like, I think in general with movies, and this is just kind of a me thing, trying to force everyone to have the same opinions and outlook on the world as me. But, like, people will watch something once and then instantly just feel like they understand the movie completely and, like, the plot structure and, like, how it flows and, like, performances. And I feel like, at least how my brain works with movies, I pretty much have to watch something twice in order to really not only understand the movie, but, like, to know my opinion on it. And so, like, it definitely helps watching movies more than once, TV shows more than once. And with Black Widow... like, surprisingly, I liked it more each time, which I wasn't expecting because I didn't really care for it that much when I first saw it, which is weird. Whereas, like, some of the older Marvel stuff, like, that I was more positive on when it came out, like Spider-Man Homecoming, I've kind of liked a little less every time I watch it, which is a little, I don't know, it's weird how that works, and... It's sad when, like, something you thought you really liked, you eventually start to realize, not so much. But it's also kind of a good thing when it's the other way around. But I don't know. The other thing, though, that does kind of bother me, and this was something I wanted to get your opinion on, like, the people that were like, there's this weird, like, thing right now where, like, oh, Black Widow was bad? Oh, that means Phase 4 doesn't matter, it's trash, it's useless, they gotta give up. Like, why are they trying? And I don't really understand why a lot of people were putting, like, they were hedging their bets almost on Black Widow when that movie was kind of a carryover from, like, an older era of Marvel Studios where, like, they were trying to get that movie out for pretty much, like, 5 years before it came out. And, like, it was a flashback. It wasn't really set to tell much of a story going forward. And so it's like, I'm curious what you think about that, where, like, there's this weird idea that like, oh, Black Widow wasn't good, but oh wow, so I didn't think Shang-Chi was going to be good. Like, I feel like that's a weird mindset to have with Marvel, especially when like this has been a thing forever. Like, oh, Thor 2 wasn't good, so I hope Captain America 2 is, like, and then oh, Captain America 2 is like one of the most beloved Marvel movies. Oh, okay. So I'm just curious what you think about that.
I mean, I think it's just cognitive bias. It's just internet talk at the end of the day.
That's true. That is true. And I do worry too much about what people think. But, like, I don't know, it's just weird hearing people talk about, like, even, like, Loki. They're like, well, I thought, Falcon and the Winter Soldier was bad, and so I wasn't expecting much from Loki. But it's like, these are all made by different people. Like, I just don't get it. It's the same kind of attitude.
I do agree with the fact that Marvel can feel like a monolith at times.
Yeah.
I mean, I think of like literally every time we've talked, I've brought this up, but it's like all the movies feel the same, and Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is also there.
Mm-hmm.
Is how it can kind of feel.
Yeah.
It's
I think so, yeah.
I think there's been like throughout the entire MCU, I think there's been like maybe how many movies and shows are there now?
25 movies.
Plus,
and then I think plus the 3 shows that are wrapped up.
Let's just count the movies.
Oh no, 2 shows.
The shows.
Actually 3 because Loki's. Oh yeah, no, don't. The shows are weird.
Let's just not count the shows on the moment. Good. I mean, to be fair, it would help them, but mainly people care about the movies. If we're being honest, like.
I mean, the shows were incredibly popular over this like last year, which is interesting.
True, but like, when people are like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's like Avengers.
Yeah.
But even if other things are, I guess, important to the plot, it's like what I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at the list. 2, 3, 4. I'd give you maybe like 5 like unique feeling styles of movie, and one of them's Shang-Chi, which came out. One of them's Shang-Chi, one of them's the 2 Guardians, one of them's Thor Ragnarok, and then you have like
Ant-Man,
slightly more happy, grounded to like Spider-Man and Ant-Man and like Avengers 1 and Iron Man, and then you have like slightly less, like more serious action flick, like which is like Captain America and
Black Widow,
Black Widow and stuff.
Yeah, and I think
maybe saying grounded was the wrong way to put it, but like I feel like those movies feel very similar,
Tonally.
From my like mental recollection, I couldn't.
The third act.
I could probably figure out who, like, the other ones feel like someone like directed this and had like their own like super unique ideas and stuff, while the other ones I'm like, those are Marvel movies.
Yeah, I think, because Pop Quiz, who directed Black Widow.
I don't know.
Kate Herron directed Black Widow, and that is something that I do kind of agree with. Like, directorially, I think Phase 3 did a better job, but like Phase 1, like Jon Favreau definitely has a style, and like you can see that in the 2 Iron Man films, and like Kenneth Branagh definitely has a style, and you can kind of feel that in Thor 1. Joe Johnston, I think, has the strongest quote-unquote directorial style with the first Avenger, Captain America: The First Avenger, because like not only is that movie like set in a different period than those 2, but like it's kind of montaging through World War II. You have more of a uplifting heroic tale, whereas like Iron Man isn't the most uplifting heroic tale. And I think it's because like I'm just so invested in these movies that like when I really think about it and look at them, I can get different things out of them. And so like
it's not necessary. It's not like I'm criticizing them, I guess. I do think it is a criticism. I don't think they're bad. But it's like when you look at like what DC is offering, even though it's frickin'
all over the place,
psychotic in its quality, I could probably like pick out the director and like their style for each of the different movies, you know?
Yeah,
Like in
that's
the way
fair.
that
Definitely.
they handle things.
You know,
Even Aquaman, which
James
sucks.
Wan, James Wan,
Like
baby,
even Aquaman, which isn't good, I'm like, oh yeah, they had like this thing going for
dude.
it, and it was kind of like a little it like embraced it, but it had like
Aquaman's like
surprisingly good
such a
fight
guilty
scenes at
pleasure.
times.
I I don't know why, but every time I watch that movie, I'm like, I love this thing. It's stupid, but I love it. Like the first action scene with the mom, I'm like, holy crap! Like, what the hell? This is amazing. The camera's like going all over the place, and this house is exploding. Like, what the hell? But I do agree, definitely. Like, so there are directors in the MCU that I like more than others, like for sure. Like, okay, so John Watts, the Spider-Man guy, I don't really like him as a director. Like he has certain quirks and style. I just don't like his style. I think it's flat, very, very boring. Like when people criticize the MCU for being colorless, flat, not looking interesting, I think of those movies. Like this is also a universe where we have, you know, so many, I don't know, and that's why I think criticizing the MCU is a really weird thing, and it's totally valid and you can totally do it. But when people say they're all the same, I just don't really understand that. When like one moment we're on a trash planet with like slavery, and then the other we're back on Earth with like this very serious political drama about whether or not superheroes should be enlisted with like restraints.
I guess what's weird about it is it's like I think it goes deeper than just like it's deeper than the text, Scott. It's it's deeper than
Analytical.
like the concept. It's weird to say that they feel samey on like a soul read, because that means nothing to anyone.
Yeah, tone is a hard thing to determine.
Not even tone, just like how they feel.
I would say that's what tone is.
I think tone. To like watch them again. I need to watch them again and figure out what I'm getting at here. But like, they feel like they were directed by the same person, even if they're about different things.
No, yeah, totally. I just don't know if I agree though. Like, I don't know. Like, I think it's because I'm obsessed with filmmaking that like I pay attention to how many edits are in one scene, like what like camera movements are happening, like what different things the director is trying to do with the blocking, or like different performance, things like that. And so it's like maybe it's because I just have like I'm very much paying attention and can notice the difference between things. And I'm not saying you don't do that. I'm not like trying to pick on you, but it's like I really like hyper pay attention to that. And like with Shang-Chi, for example, like that movie is like not only is it really colorful, but like all the colors like play into the narrative. And like at the beginning of the movie, this guy that's like kind of almost played as the villain. Spoiler alert for Shang-Chi. He's basically played off as this villain, but he's wearing white. He's wearing all these very light colors. And when he meets this woman he falls in love with, she's wearing green, which is like, the symbol of life and like nurturing and like nature. And, she has like this graceful presence to her. The way she moves is very graceful, her fighting style. Whereas his is very like aggressive, full of power, and they complement each other. And like that was like something I noticed like the first time I watched it. I'm like, that's something you don't see in all these movies, which I really dug. I was like, this guy should do more of these, Daniel Cretin something. What's his name? Daniel something Cretin? I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just really dug the way he approached the movie. And like, whereas like Black Widow, it's like, there's not much going on there where I'm like, I don't know. The best part of Black Widow was... The best part of that movie is like the opening credits. That's great. Like there's nothing quite like that in the movie, which sucks.
It's like, man, I won't lie, the music choice weirded me out.
Yeah, I think it was
like, this is weird. I was like, I was taken out of it. I was taken out of it so hard.
But I think
I was like, is this Smells Like Teen Spirit?
I do think that was kind of part of the point. It was supposed to... I don't think it was supposed to take you out of it. It was definitely supposed to be like weird and unsettling. So
no, yeah, I get why it wanted to be unsettling, but my brain was just like, why this song?
Yeah. And so like, I mean, this is an interesting idea because like I would say, okay, like from the what I'm gathering from you. So like, I think Ant-Man, for example, the first Ant-Man, and like Spider-Man: Homecoming, I guess, but like there are some MCU movies where I'm like, I just don't like the way this is directed. I think this is boring. The way I don't know, there's nothing going on. Like Thor: The Dark World is also like that, which kind of sucks because that's a Game of Thrones director, and like his episodes are some of the better ones in the show. And so it's just like there are moments where you're like, ugh. I totally agree with what you're saying. Like Ant-Man 1 is very boring from a directorial aspect. The colors, they're not that great. And the colors is like a huge thing with Marvel movies for some reason that everyone talks about. And they're like, oh, this movie has like bad colors. Gray. But like
there was like a period. There was a period.
But like,
I will straight up say
I honestly think it's gotten better.
Like phase 2.
Yeah, phase 2
I'll say it's
gotten
better? Absolutely. It was like phase 2 and 3. And like a little bit of what did phase 3 start with?
Civil War. Which is the big one people make fun of.
Yeah.
It's Civil
like
War
phase 2
usually
and part of phase 3 where it was like something happened where there was a streak where so many of the movies were like very like you could tell they put they like dampened the colors intentionally for a while, and like the exception was Guardians until like after Civil War.
True.
And then Black Panther was like, okay, wait, we're getting somewhere, we're going back up.
I mean, I'd argue it started with Doctor Strange. I would say from Doctor Strange all the way on. Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Did Doctor Strange come out after Civil War?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll say that.
And
sure.
Wait, maybe...
I will say I think the reason why people peg on Civil War the hardest is because it's probably one of like the worst examples of it, and B, it was probably the last major example of it. I can't really say that it's been an issue that I've noticed since then.
People were kind of doing it with Black Widow a little bit, but like that's a more, I don't know, that's a tone thing. Color is definitely a tone thing, and like not even every movie needs to be deep, dark, and drab. But like, I don't know.
Even then, there was like different. It wasn't New York, like that's. Yeah. Let's say it how it is. It wasn't like U.S. city.
True.
It was like we're in the snow place, and then
the country.
There's like
Norway.
There was a part where you were in a city, but the city was brown.
True. It's like I don't even remember. Oh, that was Budapest. Yeah, I was like, I almost.
I was like, that's a change. That's a change.
Yeah.
Also, since it wasn't like a streak like it was for a while.
Yeah, definitely. Like end of phase. Well, I don't know. I think Avengers 1 is a decent looking movie. Like, I don't know, but like its colors. Yeah, I don't know.
I'd say Civil War is the first instant. I mean, not Civil War. I mean, Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
is the first like instance of it.
Or Winter Soldier, and even Thor: The Dark World isn't all that. Like a lot of.
No, I don't know order, but like thinking in terms of ones people like looking at Captain America's like suit. Starting from there,
it's like kind of blue, kind of not blue.
It's like when I'm looking at the poster in this crunched down version, I open up the image, but it's still smaller than normal. I cannot tell any color difference other than the white on it.
True.
Whereas like, early, first Avenger Cap is like blues and reds and yellows. Not yellows, God, whites.
Yellow. Yellow. I mean, even for the Avengers 1, they had him wear the same suit too, which I liked a lot. Mm-hmm. And yeah, definitely. Like, okay, the thing I don't like in the MCU is like Taskmaster. Like that outfit, horrible, terrible. I hate that. And like, there's so much of that in these movies where it's like
they soiled it.
Character aside,
idea and they soiled
it. Character aside, it's like I hate that in the MCU where like they just get this like. And I hate using generic as a criticism, but like this just very basic, like boring. I don't know what the right criticism is, but it's just I don't like that look. And like you have that in so many of these, and like I don't know. I've never loved that where like a lot of the suits tend to not look as good as they probably could.
It feels like they're like, okay, it feels like in order to make it more like mature and grounded. They're like, okay, we need to get rid of anything like iconography aside from the most basic like shape and color.
The thing
and even then, we need to downplay that.
It pissed me off. Like, okay,
because like back in the day when like Cap had the wings on his helmet, you know, people were like, haha, he has like the weird ears. Like, so they were like,
those came back in Endgame.
So we have to give it. Did they come back?
Yeah, he has them in.
Because he has the old suit.
Yeah, the old suit. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, you know, they very intentionally were like, okay, post this movie, we're dampening those down.
Yeah, like, and the thing that really bothered me with Taskmaster, not even like, I'm not even talking about just the character, but like the aesthetic wise, dude. Okay, she, spoiler alert, never uses the sword and the shield at the same time ever. That bothered me. It bothered me so much. And every time she throws the shield, and it's like, okay, what was your plan? Why did you throw that? Like, there was no point. And then like, not only that, it's like, there's a part in the movie where she throws it when they're in the subway. You never see her pick it up, and then suddenly she just has it again. It was so jarring. Like, it was bizarre.
Don't earlier they show that she has like it's like a magnet thing.
Yeah, kind of like,
so like on her wrist. It's like
yeah, I guess so.
So I guess
it was just weird. Thing. Like, there were so many parts in the movie with the sword and the shield where I'm like, why did they do it like that? What the?
Look what they did to my character.
The worst thing about it is they gave her like the feminine version of Tony, which is the worst. Antonia. It's like, what are they doing?
It's like, why? Yeah.
I will agree.
Taskmaster is so cool. Why'd you do that?
Yeah. At least we have.
I'm good with the idea you had, but at least do it. You know.
And the thing that
like,
sucks...
here are 2 short scenes with Taskmaster. They are gone for the rest of the movie until the very end of the climax, where you don't even get to see them do anything.
No, they're locked in a cell after fighting the Red Guardian, and that's it.
They never even masked, dude. They never even master another fighting style visually.
Yeah, they just use a bunch.
Literally, the only thing that happens that's like, oh, they fight like another person is that the first time they show up, other than having a shield and a bow, I guess, is that the very first time she shows up, her and Black Widow get up in like the same way.
And I mean,
and that's like,
maybe it's because I'm a nerd and like really pay attention, but like there was like the Winter Soldier knife flip. There was a few beyond that, definitely. Like when she's fighting Red Guardian, there's also a moment where she does the
she does she like preps a Black Panther stance, and then it cuts away, and you never see the fight. That's.
I mean, yeah, that fight was weird. I mean, there was.
It feels like they cut it out. It feels like they cut most of it out for pacing or whatever.
Yeah, that movie's long.
That movie's a film.
I definitely like. And the other thing too about the MCU.
But hey, it had Nirvana in the opening. I recognize that song.
I know what that is.
I recognize the song.
I know things you know. I will say the main thing about the MCU that like, even if like, okay, Black Widow, I really wasn't that excited for, but like I was like, okay, I want to see this because one, I like the character. I liked Natasha. I've always liked Natasha. And so it's like, okay, I want to see what do they have here. Even though like I'm not that interested in the movie, I want to know like what are they going to try and do here with the character. And like that's the problem where like they shoved it in between Civil War and Infinity War, where like there was no character development in between those movies, and so like they can't really do anything. And I was like, well, crap. But
it's like it should have come out.
I love the little things like at the beginning when they're escaping and you're like, okay, like what's going on here, and you see the car and it's S.H.I.E.L.D. and they're running away from S.H.I.E.L.D., so you kind of know, okay, well, this is, that's S.H.I.E.L.D., so clearly, what this family is doing is not great or whatever. And so it's like, I don't know, I love those little things when watching these movies that like really only if you're invested in these movies you'd get into. And I don't know, and that's kind of why I enjoy. They're comfy. They're cozy. Especially the lesser ones. The lesser good ones. Like Thor the Dark World, there's not much in there that I'm like, oh, that's cool. That connects to that. Oh, none of that.
It's okay, Scott. We don't need to. It's okay. You don't need to praise Thor: The Dark World. It's all right.
No, I don't need to do that.
Don't do it.
Like even Ant-Man had like the backstory with like the Pyms and like his relationship with like Tony or Howard Stark and you know, stuff like that. And it's like, I don't know, even the more mid ones do interesting things with the universe. Like, and that's, I don't know, that's always something I think these movies have that others don't. And it's bizarre to me when people criticize the like interconnectedness. And like, I get like if you don't like that, that's fine. But like when people are like, "Oh, I really wish this movie didn't have a scene where like our main character relates to one of the other main characters of a different movie," and it's like, well, then it's the MCU. Like, if you didn't want that kind of movie, don't watch it. I don't know. It's weird, and I'm getting a little.
I feel like that's the thing, though. I think that's what makes like the DC movies feel more, as psychotic as they are, feel more like different because they aren't. I guess what it is Marvel a lot of the time doesn't like, because it's interconnected, you know, it tries not to have like super crazy changes in style and direction, you know? It kind of feels it feels cozy. It feels like it's the Marvel movie, you know?
True.
While DC is like, okay, so this one's R-rated. And this one is like super murder house, and this one's very dark, and this one's more childlike, and this one's Aquaman for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. It's just like, I think it is a type of thing where we definitely know that like directors are kind of, I guess, probably not too majorly, you know, they can tell. Actually, no, I don't know how you make a Marvel movie, you know, and like have it all interconnect. Because at times it's like I kind of feel like Thor development at the end of Ragnarok got screwed over by Infinity War.
Interesting. You know? I think kind of. Like, well I mean, Infinity War does.
What I mean as in like at the end of Ragnarok, it was like Thor has these new traits, and he has like one eye, so he's like more like Odin is, and
yeah, and then he gets the eye back.
He's lost his hammer and stuff, and then he has like Asgard's in a ship now. And then while I know at the beginning of Infinity War is like Thanos is very strong, this is scary, he kills everyone.
Yeah, it pulls an Alien
3. It kind of makes me wonder if whoever wrote Thor Ragnarok was like, okay, and then in the next movie we're gonna carry this on. And this is going to be like how Thor's new for now. Or if that was like predetermined. It's just kind of like, I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
How they work that out.
I get what you're saying, totally. And like, that's one of my big problems with Iron Man 3. Is like, I adore Iron Man 3. It's one of my favorite ones. But like, why does nothing from that movie carry over into the like Age of Ultron? It's like Iron Man 3 didn't even happen. Whereas like Infinity War, I can kind of like, you know, the stuff that Thor talks, like, I mean, he talks about losing his family and like pieces and like that, and how like, you know, he had to kill his own sister and stuff like that. And so it's like, I don't know, like his arc into Infinity War, I feel like was still appreciated and carried over more than the likes of Tony from Iron Man 3 into Age of Ultron. But I don't know, it's a good point. Like, how...
I mean, what's interesting though is like, of course Thor 4 isn't out yet, but like circa, of course he has.
Is he
like,
gonna still
PTSD.
be fat at the beginning? Like, what? Like...
It's like, are we gonna bring that back, or is he gonna be like goofy Thor?
Also, I
again?
think he's gonna be in. Like, oh no, Guardians 3 comes out after. Never mind.
Yeah, Guardians 3 comes out after. But I mean, I guess equivalent exchange. We traded him being closer to Odin to now him being like mythological accurate Thor.
I guess
terms of like body shape.
That's true.
You know?
True.
But
that's
nice
another thing
enough.
that's weird. That's going back to your point of like, how do they plan these out? Like, so the same writers of Infinity War and Endgame, they're the same directors and writers, and like basically the same crew. So, you know, Thor goes from this like almost peak of like how much I care about him in Ragnarok and Infinity War to dive bombing in this like in the course of one movie, and it's just like, what? Like, why? Like, Fat Thor is just like, oh, it's the worst thing about Endgame. And it's just like, why did they do that? like the character's completely different. And I understand, 5 years, but it's just like, oh man, like, now his next movie is going to be like the same arc as Endgame, where he's got to stop pitying himself or whatever. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, it's like, well, I mean, to be fair, at the end of Endgame, he is like he's up on his spirits.
True. And Valkyrie is the queen of Asgard. I mean,
Asgard doesn't exist.
Asgard isn't a place. It's a people.
Oh yeah, I forgot they made like a town, Asgard. They just like
I don't even think
they just colonialized Scotland.
I don't think
you're us now.
No, they go to Norway because it's their home
or whatever.
Did you not watch Thor Ragnarok? Oh my god.
I don't. Oh my gosh, Scott!
You're proving my point that you don't know anything about these movies, and that your criticisms are invalid.
You can't criticize it if you don't know it by heart. Like, okay, come on, buddy. Come on.
I'm a super fan, and I will admit that, like, I'm going to be on this train probably even while I'm dead.
I will make it a project. I will make it a project to rewatch all the Marvel movies and like write down my thoughts on them and make a thing of it. Just out of spite.
Iron Man 3 sucks. What the the Age of Ultron's terrible.
Let's see. Wait. Let me scroll up.
Ant-Man's the best.
God, I really love the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh boy.
I really do hate the original Avengers.
Guess what?
It sucks. What?
Like, I didn't like that show. I didn't like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It was bad.
I know, that's why I said I loved it.
Oh.
That's why. Look, the opinions that I agree with you on, they're because I'm right and not because I agree with you on. But if we disagree on it, I'm gonna take the opposite stand.
Oh man, you're right. God dang. Well, shoot.
Dude, shoot, crazy. It's all over, man.
And so, like, man, it's hard to explain it, but like, and it's not like I'm opposed. I don't know. So when all that Star Wars crap back in December was announced, all of it from like Mandalorian, like not Mandalorian season 3, but like not Book of Boba Fett, whatever, all that crap.
I don't know.
They announced like 20,000 shows, and I was just like, oh god, this, ugh. And it's like, is that how people feel about the MCU? Like, I don't know, it's weird.
I think that's what certain people feel about it. Yeah.
And it's just like,
certainly, I feel it to a lesser degree with the MCU because the MCU in generally they don't come out with things that are bad. Like, at worst, it's like, this was not good.
And that's why I just think the response to Black Widow was
like,
weird.
Oh my god. It isn't like Star Wars.
True.
Where it's like, well, this is terrible.
Yeah, this movie ruined the latter half of the trilogy. What the hell are they gonna do?
Actively sucked.
Yeah. Like, there's a reason why, like, I don't know, The Last Jedi's plot threads just, how is that a second movie in a trilogy? Like, what? What? Hello?
Dude, but come on, you have a Letterboxd account. You have to love it.
Oh,
you have to be like, it's actually super subversive and great.
It is. Didn't you know?
It is.
And The Rise of Skywalker is the worst one, obviously.
Well, I mean, obviously, yes.
That's what Letterboxd
I think even without a Letterboxd opinion,
that's true.
That one is definitely the worst.
It's weird. I flip-flop on The Last Jedi so much. It's weird. Like, right now, I'm not in a good Last Jedi mood, but maybe tomorrow?
Like, okay, you flip-flop on The Last Jedi. You don't flip-flop on Rise of Skywalker. That movie's just terrible.
When I saw that movie, I hated it, and then I watched it again, and I kind of hated it a little less, but I still didn't like it. So it's like, yeah, no, definitely.
Crazy.
But Marvel doesn't really have that issue.
No, it doesn't. It's like, it's fine. Like, typically, at worst, it's like, that was okay.
The show will go on. If Ant-Man 2 is a pile of poo, Endgame was gonna be fine, It's like
at worst, it's like, I guess I didn't waste my time, I suppose.
True, and I remember
could have done things that were worse. Whereas with some of the Star Wars movies, it was like, man, I am not happy that I spent my time watching that.
Dude, I know. And I think with the Star Wars, the other thing is like, Legends fans are gonna get annoyed at this, but like, it's never really had that, like, going for it, the, like, whole interconnected universe thing. And that's why I think, trying to force it into this template of, like... I think it's working with the shows a little bit, but, like, I I'm glad that they kind of stopped doing the movies, like, for a while. Like, we're not getting Solo 2 next summer, you know? It's like, I'm kind of glad that they realized that, like, doing that format with Star Wars with the movies wasn't the best idea. And whereas with Marvel, the shows are really interesting to me, and I wish you'd seen more of them to, like, I mean, any of them, to, like, kind of weigh in on this. But, like, the shows, more than anything, feel the most Marvel Cinematic Universe to me than anything. And it's hard to explain it, but, like, as much as I didn't like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like, watching it, there was no, like, oh, is this going to work as a TV show? Or is the Marvel template going to work with a TV show? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, like, for the most part, like, it, you know, it works. And I'm curious, like...
It just isn't good.
They seem to have a good balance with the upcoming Marvel stuff, whereas with Star Wars, it's all Disney Plus garbage. That, like, it's like, oh my god, like, some of it's like Visions, Star Wars Visions. Oh man, that's gonna be cool. Like this like non-canon like, animated series.
I'm gonna watch whatever's made by Trigger and not care about the other stuff for Star Wars Visions. Exactly. In the trailer, there's a point where a guy has like a lady has like 6 lightsabers, and a guy like wraps them around his lightsaber and is like holding them in place. And I'm like, this is exactly what I want.
This is perfect. Yeah.
This hits my monkey brain. This hits my goopy goblin brain.
True.
And it's like, this is what I want.
And I have was... Okay, and this is the other thing that I want to make very clear. I can criticize the MCU. Are you ready?
You can?
I think Spider-Man No Way Home is going to be the most divisive MCU movie to come out ever. I think that movie is probably either A, going to be okay, or people are going to hate it. And I'm worried. And it's because... It's
gonna be fun, come on, take in the chaos.
Whereas my lizard brain is like, oh man, dude, No Way Home, it's gonna be great. But the other side of my brain's like, oh man, like this was finally the time to do a grounded story with Peter. Where, like, he doesn't have anyone else. He has him, he has himself, he has Aunt May, he has Happy, and Ned, and that's it. He doesn't need, you know... Doctor Strange, and that's like
Far From Home didn't have any other like
true.
I guess you know what? I guess to be fair, I do.
But he has Nick Fury or fake Nick Fury.
Okay.
Up his chest the whole time, and like the plot events of those 2 movies exist because of everyone else around him, not him. It's just like little things like that.
What I was going to say is that I get you on the level of like, so far we haven't had a Peter story where he isn't like mentored. You know? Homecoming like explored that
a little bit.
Well, I mean that was like at first it was Tony and Peter. That was the point. You know? Mm-hmm. And he had to like, you know, do his own things and stuff. Of course it was his movie. But he had, like, that mentor relationship. Far From Home, like, subverted that with Mysterio.
Edith. I don't want Edith.
That was the point. And then I feel like No Way Home, hopefully they do it. I feel like Doctor Strange... I would like to see Spider-Man attach to Doctor Strange as being, like, you're my new mentor, and him being like, no kid.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this for you. You need to... do it on your own.
And that's...
You need to start, like, making your own strides.
Yeah, because...
You know, ideally, that's, like, the message. But then... You know, that's, like... And then you have this character arc, this, like, trilogy, so to speak, of, like... And then he can go on and do his own things, you know? Yeah. That'll be the home trilogy, quote-unquote.
True. He finally came home.
That's the story arc of it.
Yeah. I think...
And then he can leave high school.
I mean, he's supposedly gonna graduate. Yeah, he's supposedly gonna graduate in this one. Supposedly.
Yeah. Then he can go to college and we can have adult Spider-Man stories for the first time on a movie.
I hope, man. Well,
okay, no, Raimi did it.
Yeah, okay.
Raimi
and I can't...
That was my bad.
I think Amazing Spider-Man 2, right?
No,
because Gwen's like, oh, I'm gonna go to college in London or whatever.
They're graduating. I think it's end of high school.
I bought the box set of the Amazing Movies to watch. I still haven't watched 2 because I just can't. I just can't.
Okay,
but the MCU.
I guess here's what I'm saying. We've just been consistently like screwed out of getting like our true like adult age Peter like Spider-Man story on film.
It's true.
Spider-Man 2 did it a little bit, but then Spider-Man 3 was supposed to be like the main thing of it, and that wasn't.
Yeah.
Like we need a good one.
Because like we knew, so Spider-Man 3, Home 3, whatever. It, like from what we understand, before the Sony deal went back into effect, it was going to be Kraven.
The last one.
It was going to be Kraven and Peter. Like it was
going
to be very
Amazing Spider-Man.
No. Tom Holland 3. So the third film they were going to do was going to be
a Kraven story?
A very grounded Kraven movie, and I'm like, that sounds great. Please do that. And then
honestly, I'm like, I don't want to see my boy Tom Holland get buried alive. That just feels uncomfortable, you know?
But it's like
this is just cruel.
It's like just don't put Skrulls in it. Like we didn't need Skrulls in No Way Home. Why? Like
that was just the end credits though, yeah?
Yeah, but they were Skrulls the whole movie.
Yeah, but they were still the same character effectively.
Like
it wasn't like turns out the plot was about Skrulls the whole time.
You ask anyone and they're like, no, Nick Fury was out of character in No Way Home. Blah blah blah. But anyway,
okay, you know what? Fine.
And
I'll just be over here with my correct opinion.
And so it's like the MCU is definitely not without criticism, and like I'm proving my point here. Like I adore this stupid universe that I love, and like. But right now we're in this weird era with the multiverse crap, where like it's like people want Charlie Cox's Daredevil to be in No Way Home, and I'm like, okay, 3 things. 1, why? Like generally, just like cool. Why? It would be cool. Yes. 2,
because he's cool, and it's honestly
what purpose?
Probably
thematically from a storytelling
perspective. I think outside of Loki, Daredevil is still probably considered the best show.
Definitely. Oh, it is. It is.
Like. So but it's I think I get why.
Daredevil's also in this weird nebulous. It's kind of MCU. It's kind of not because it takes place.
He's in the weird nebulous void where it was for a while. The shows didn't matter.
Yeah, but they still took place in the MCU. It's weird.
Yeah,
and
it was before the shows carried the plot.
And so I understand, but it's like why not just do a Daredevil movie, like or a new show, or like recant. I don't know. And so it's just like people. Like I feel like they want
people grow attached to the character.
Oh yeah,
so they want like that one, you know.
But it's like
you don't want new Daredevil.
No, definitely.
It's the meme of it's like, Mom, can we have Daredevil? No, we have Daredevil
at home.
And then it's Daredevil at Home is new Daredevil origin on Disney Plus in June of 2070.
But like, I don't know. It's like why like. I don't know. It's like I feel like Daredevil being in No Way Home would just be distracting. Like I don't know. Like on top of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and Doc Ock and Jamie Foxx as Electro, it's just like I don't know. Whereas I can see like Multiverse of Madness. It's literally called Multiverse of Madness. Like that's probably going to be a bonkers movie. Like maybe do it there. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, what is Daredevil? What is Charlie Cox gonna do in a Doctor Strange movie? I don't know.
He's gonna exist, and then he's gonna be like, "Well, I'm with you guys now," and then it's gonna be like, "Hooray!"
Yeah.
Daredevil and Shang-Chi movie coming out 2026.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, and so it's like
that's one thing I feel like I'm still iffy about power creep in MCU.
Dude, power creep is like a disaster now. Like. Ever since Black Panther's new suit, where he gets like the kinetic energy and like Tony has like nanobots, it's screwed forever.
It's like, dude, like I loved Shang-Chi, but what is that guy gonna matter? Like, let's be real. Outside of the rings, like, I'm sorry, karate isn't gonna cut it anymore.
And that's why I loved Infinity War when Thor's like, he couldn't just have his hammer handed to him. He had to fucking have a star blasting through his body. It's like
that was dope.
And so there is room to do creative stuff like that, but it's just like you're kind of right, where it's like once T'Challa got his suit, he just kind of became boring. Like he's so boring in Black Panther, he's so boring in Infinity War, and like I don't know. And like
And they
Carol
just never use
Danvers,
the kinetic energy
I mean, Infinity War uses it a lot, I guess, but
in interesting ways. That's it's his his kinetic energy is literally always just a shockwave. Yeah. Then he's like, "Get off me!" Like,
yeah.
I was like, "Oh, dude, is he gonna like bounce off things?" Like,
no,
it adds to like his Black Panther-ness,
no,
where he can like move cool, and it's like, no, he
doesn't help that
does it. Like,
Killmonger.
I don't know, there's that one point where he like stops a car because of his suit like allowed him to like push back, and I was like, that's cool. And then I was like, no.
Yeah. I gotta rewatch Black Panther, not gonna lie. Honestly, I don't think I've seen it since the theater.
Same, probably.
Which is weird, because
then again, that's most of the Marvel movies.
Best Picture nominee, Black Panther.
I don't know. I'm excited for No Way Home.
I am too.
Tom Holland.
I definitely
like Doctor Strange.
I like Tom Holland too. I like Doctor Strange.
I feel like, okay.
I just think we could have gotten a better story out of it.
By far, I feel like Spider-Man by far is the character that suffers the most being a part of the MCU. In regards of his solo movies. Let me say
I kind of agree. I do kind of agree.
Spider-Man, I think, is easily the, like, if we're to scale the power levels, you know, how it is. Like, you know, some characters are like planet level heroes, where it's like, I can protect a planet threat.
Yeah, Carol Danvers, she's got Earth under
galaxy
control.
Threat. I'm like a universal one. Spider-Man is like, I am a city threat.
Yeah, this block of Manhattan.
Like, even Black Widow is like, I am a, like, I could see her being like, I am a nation level threat.
Yeah.
Like,
true.
It's like Spider-Man and Hawkeye are like, we can handle things in New York.
It would be so good in a movie together, I feel like.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, like, putting him on the level where it's like, he has to deal with killing God now. It's like, okay, this is good for the guy.
Yeah, and that is something that, like, the Raimi trilogy definitely started to feel, I feel like, with, like, once you introduce, like, the symbiote, where, like, it's from space and, like, all this crap, it's just like, okay, chill out a little bit, movie, like, relax, and then, oh, there's 20,000 villains in that movie, and it's just like, I love Spider-Man 3, wholeheartedly, I love that movie, but it was too much, and, like, from a comic perspective, I feel like it's easier to do the bigger Spider-Man stories off, like, on the page, you know? Like, you know, Future Foundation, that's easy to do in a comic. In a movie, it's just like, it's gonna be weird.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Spider-Man.
And I do agree.
Like, okay. But earlier you talked about the like Sony deal. Has that like changed?
So
was it originally just like supposed to be 3 movies for?
They were going to do a trilogy, and then after No Way or Far From Home, all the names are stupid. The second one,
the best names in the MCU.
The Far From Home. That's the second one.
Yes.
Sony was like, wow, that made a lot of money. Maybe we don't need Marvel to boost our box office, because Amazing Spider-Man 2 and even the first one didn't do that great. But so they're like, okay, bye. And then they're like, oh, crap. Marvel's like, well, we like kind of trapped you, where we like set up this thing with Peter's identity. Like, I don't know, are you going to still be able to do that? Can you have... You know, can you...
So, like, after this next movie, rights go back to...
Yes, after this one, they go back. And there's debate...
Crazy.
There's debate about whether or not they'll keep things. There's debate whether or not Tom Holland is going to appear in Venom 3 or whatever. And so it's just like, we're in this weird spot where maybe Peter is better off without the MCU, but, like, I don't care about the Sony, what do they call it? Sony's Spider-Man, what do they call it? Some dumb name, but I don't care about the Venom verse. I'm sorry, but I don't
care either. I just want cool movies.
Me too. And so it's like maybe with No Way Home, after, you know, they have it's a leap of faith moment with when it's going to be beat for beat Spider-Verse, when, you know, Tom's going to be holding Tobey's hand. and he's gonna be like, "You did good, kid. I gotta go back to my family."
Do we know that they're showing up in?
They're in the movie. They're in the movie. At least Andrew Garfield is. They're sets like there are set photos. Like this man was caught in 4K. Andrew's in the movie. Toby, I feel like, is in the movie too, but I don't know for sure. There's not confirmed, but he's in the movie.
Like, okay, if you're putting Andrew in,
but not Toby,
then like, okay,
yeah, I can. It's just like, I don't know, and so like he's gonna learn how to be Spider-Man through these Spider-Men, but it's like he's already done that. He's already done. I get like part of the Raimi trilogy was like each movie he lost a part of like of the responsibility. Like he realized like, oh, I'm relying too much on Spider-Man. I should. Spider-Man 3 was all about how like, finally the glory has gotten to him and he has a balanced life, but it's very superficial and he has to learn how to truly love Mary Jane, that stuff. And so it's like, I get like each of those movies was like challenging what it meant to be Spider-Man. But it's just like, I don't know if I need a movie where he meets all these Spider-Men and like Charlie Cox gives him a high five. It's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's weird. Like, I do agree with you where I feel like, especially now knowing about the Sony stuff, where No Way Home is like stuck between a rock and a hard place.
And the reason why
where it's like, okay, so we're not going to be able to do everything we want to do. So how do we manage to do what we want to do? Like,
yeah, because Sony really only has like Sinister Six, and like a few of the Spider-Man characters. They can't do Peter and you can't do Peter and the Fantastic Four. You can't do Peter and blah 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 all that stuff. And so it's definitely a weird place to be.
Oh, to be fair, how likely is it that just Disney finds a way to buy it out? Like,
I don't know, man. Sony's been holding. It's all Sony's got. Like,
true.
It's really all they have, and it's sad.
How likely is it that Disney buys Sony?
Dude, I can't wait for Hotel Transylvania to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Crazy.
Body with a Chance of Meatballs 3 gonna happen under Disney, guaranteed.
I don't know, dude. It's crazy. We'll figure it out.
And
do you have anything else you want to mention today?
Okay, so going forward, so my most anticipated project in the near future is not Spider-Man 3 No Way Home.
It's because you're weird.
It is.
It's because you're weird.
It is Eternals. Okay.
It's
so I'm curious for you. What is one you're looking forward to?
It's literally the opposite answer.
Spider-Man. Lizard Brain Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, the lizard's going to be in that movie. Lizard Brain. I guess so.
Crazy.
Although, is it Dr. Connor? I actually don't know. Is it
It'd have to be Dr. Connors.
Dr. Connors Amazing Spider-Man 1? I don't know.
Yeah.
That is the other thing. It's like, why do people want to see Jamie Foxx again as Electro? He was terrible.
I mean, we don't. We want to see everyone else.
It's just weird.
I feel like Jamie Foxx is there just because it's like, well, okay, we do 2 from each, I guess.
We already have Electro. We might as well.
Is Jake Gyllenhaal somehow gonna resurrect from the dead?
There's talk about this. I don't know.
Like,
I think the slate is gonna be. I don't think Vulture's in it. That's the other thing. It's like
I think Vulture has to be in it.
Maybe, but it's like this is.
I think,
they set this up with Homecoming.
Here's the thing.
They set up Scorpion in Homecoming, and they haven't done anything with it.
Because I think that was oh god, we have only one movie left.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And that's Sony for you. They just shove everything in at the last second. It sucks.
But, I mean, I think if they're putting Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Lizard, Electro, then you'd have,
I think it's Sandman.
They have the T literally set up to be like, we just add 2 more characters, and then we can say, we did Sinister Six!
Yeah. Sony's been trying to do that forever.
Yeah. If you want to screw them over, take their thunder. Come on.
Yeah. Man, I think, people. I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna be. Like Rhino, Paul Giamatti. I don't know.
I guess my brain says it'll be 2 from each is the most easy thing.
Maybe.
But then again, that require. Who knows how it's gonna work?
Maybe I can. Mysterio living makes sense. Like he's Mysterio.
True.
Edith could
And
have
also,
lied.
he's like the best.
I think
He's the boy.
yeah, I like what they did with him in No Way Home, but like he's almost it's weird. I don't know. He's weird.
He's upper echelon Marvel villain.
Because half of the movie he's playing the good guy, and then the other half he's playing, you know, Jeff Bridges from Iron Man 1. It's weird. So I don't know.
That's Mysterio.
It's true. It's true.
His own manipulation, boys. Anyway.
That was a lot.
Last thing I want to mention is, this is super off topic, but so they've been releasing footage for the Nickelodeon Smash game, yeah.
Oh, yes.
And in one of the videos, you see Patrick has Bowser side B.
Oh God.
And it kills at the same time, literal same frame. And the devs have confirmed that in a tie, Patrick wins.
No, Bowser's Patrick's side.
And I'm like, yes, no, this is what I want to see.
Oh, let's go, dude.
That's like, this is
amazing.
What I want in life.
I'm curious.
I don't need to watch any Spider-Man movie ever again.
All I need is Patrick's side B.
Give him back to Sony. Look, you know, we got Spider-Verse out of it, which is better than anything else that the MCU could ever put out.
Okay,
Spider-Man.
And it's weird because
it's just because I'm out here with, you know, the Giga Brain take that animation is just inherently better for superhero narratives, but that's I think just because it allows for more. It allows for more, you know,
creativity.
Stuff. You're not bounded by the fact that we need to have these actors do this.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, I have my reservations about Spider-Verse 2, but like, I'm looking forward
absolutely
to it.
Same. I mean,
I'll watch
but like, but it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, just the idea of superhero just makes, I think, it'd make more sense. You do great things with, you know, real live action actors and CGI and stuff. I'm not saying that things are like mediocre because of it.
Well, yeah,
on any level, but like just inherently, a lot of the more like otherworldly stuff, like, you know, even in, I mean, it's a joke at this point that every third act MCU movie becomes just a CGI fight.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Even in the MCU, half the time it ends up being okay. So we can't have them do this, so we have to animate it. Like,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So at times, maybe it's better to just be upfront and like, we're just tackling that issue from the start.
Yeah. And that's why What If has been a lot of fun. Is like, they can just do whatever the hell they want. It's great.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't love that animation style, I will say, like, it's
right.
weird. I don't know. Like,
right.
I think every episode, I think I hate it more. But
like,
it's
like it's not bad.
Oh, it's not bad. Like, no,
it's all right.
It's just
it
weird.
Isn't like I'm not watching it and like, oh my god,
yeah,
this looks incredible. It's like it's like it's animated.
Yes, exactly. Whereas like I don't know, the same Disney Plus but Bad Batch was like beautiful show. Like, oh my god, it looks so good. Whereas like What If, I'm just like, I don't know, was this? How did I don't know? It's not bad.
I mean, it's cel shaded.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks good. It looks animated. It looks good.
And then there's some people that like the ancient one looks so weird. I don't know. There's some that's like Mark Ruffalo looks a little weird, but that's okay.
I think that's also a thing where it's like we have to emulate real people.
Yeah.
Which is always weird, you know?
True.
Because then your brain is comparing it to the real person, and it's like, oh.
That's my favorite thing about What If.
That doesn't like Tom Holland.
Yeah, it's like, not only does it not look like him, obviously it doesn't sound like him, but it's supposed to be him, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, wow, I mean, What If is almost done, and so...
How many episodes are there supposed to be?
I think it's 6 or 7?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did they already greenlight a second season?
Yeah. I think What If is going to become kind of like the yearly staple kind of thing. I think it's going to be a yearly show. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Because they've already said like they want to do an alternate What If with Black Widow, the movie. So it's like, well, okay. And everyone's joking. What if Taskmaster was good? So hey, we'll see.
That's what. At the very least, with this one, we're like, okay, they're just doing what they want.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. Cute.
Which is neat.
It's fun to hop in with the MCU every week, but I'm not in love with the show, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Okay. It's been pretty wild times. I think we shall end it here. Who knows when we'll be back? We'll never be back. Maybe when Gabe gets a PS4 in 2024, we'll be back.
Yes.
Thank you for watching, everybody. Check out the older stuff. See what dumb things we said then and how I'm a massive hypocrite and I never should have started the show because I have bad opinions. Thank you for watching. Bye.